I'm so excited to tell you about the Kroger OptUp app. OptUp is your virtual assistant for healthier shopping. I've been using OptUp with my grocery shopping, and now I'm more mindful as I make food choices for my family at Kroger. What I love the most is how OptUp tracks my household score automatically based off what I'm purchasing at Kroger. OptUp also makes recommendations for healthier alternatives and nutrition facts of the foods we purchase. OptUp is very easy to use. Download it today in the App Store or Google Play. Welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast, where we believe there is a produce mom in all of us. I'm Lori Taylor, founder and CEO of the Produce Moms. For 10 years, I sold fresh produce to over 300 grocery stores in the U.S. And today, my team and I are fully focused on inspiring people to eat more fruits and vegetables. This show is just one of the ways that we hope to inspire you and your family to eat more produce and live a better life. If you like what you're hearing on the podcast, join our community of almost 40,000 in all 50 states and over 30 countries by visiting theproducemoms.com/subscribe. And be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes. Thanks for being here. Enjoy today's show. Welcome back, everyone. It's another edition of the Produce Moms Podcast. Do we have a very special guest for you today? We are speaking today with Beth Miller. She is the Director of Sports Nutrition for Duke Athletics, where she is fueling excellence and serving as one of the most important registered dietitians at Duke University, working hand in hand with their athletic department. So without further ado, Beth, welcome to the Produce Moms Podcast. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be connected. I actually discovered who Beth was by following various Duke Athletics social media feeds, and they recently did a feature on how their athletes, fuel up. And, Beth had this wonderful testimonial about the importance of nutrition and the role that she plays at Duke University when it comes to their athletic department, and just was so fascinated and inspired by her comments and the fact that she's working for, hand in hand with such an iconic athletic department in the United States. So, Beth, thank you so much for, accepting our invite to be on the show and connecting with me and sharing some really good correspondence pre-show with me to really educate me more on, what you do.
Yeah, of course. Love sharing what we do, getting it out there, and sharing the importance of fueling the athlete.
Thank you. So that being said, Beth, what exactly is sports nutrition? How is sports nutrition different than other areas of nutrition and dietetics? And what makes, the work that you're doing at Duke, unique and superior?
Yeah, so in very basic terms, sports nutrition, like beyond just teaching general nutrition, is the science of fueling and hydrating before, during, and after exercise. But obviously that's one sentence, so that there's no way that can sum it all up of what sports nutrition is. But we as sports dietitians take teaching proper nutrition and fueling to another level as to how can you use your nutrition as another edge to improve your training, to enhance your recovery. So yes, we're working with our athletes on basic nutrition skills and just healthy lifestyle skills, but then we also take it and add it into their training, and how can your nutrition truly enhance that performance?
I love that.
And then here at Duke, we are actually, our department is still in its infancy. I moved out here last May, so May of 2017, to start this program from scratch. And it's really dynamic and unique in the fact of how fast we've been able to grow. Just a short 2 to 3 months after I got here, I was able to hire a full-time assistant, and then throughout the year after that, we've hired 2 additional fellows. So we've really been able to grow and expand, and now have 4 dietitians here working in the department, which means we have that many more arms to be able to reach that many athletes, because we have close to 690 student athletes here at Duke, and that's a lot for just a few people to be able to focus on each of these nutritional strategies. So to have 4 of us here, that definitely makes us unique. And we're finding more and more every day the student athletes' desire to want to learn more about their nutrition. So that just shows the need for us to continue to grow so we can have that impact.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, you're definitely doing good work. I mean, it's no mystery. You ask any sports fan, especially with NCAA basketball right around the corner. Ask any sports fan to name some of the most boss athletes in America, and your Duke athletes are going to be on that list. So that's got to feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about like what I would consider your everyday athlete. Young adults, parents, children, youth and high school athletes. A lot of the folks who follow along with the Produce Moms are, moms of family, family household.
Mm-hmm.
So do these individuals need to adopt a sports nutrition program?
Oh, most definitely. I think that proper nutrition program is vital for athletes of all ages and at all levels, whether you are training to get a PR at your next road race, if you're in high school looking to go on and play college sports, or even if you are just simply a frequent user of your local gym. I consider any of those populations to be an athlete of some sort, and embracing proper nutrition is 100% important if you want to, for any of the benefits that you're looking to get out of that training that you're doing.
Out of that physical effort. Yeah, that's a good point. So, I mean, Beth, what resources, tools, and strategies do you encourage these everyday athletes to embrace or utilize?
Yeah, so the best resource would, if you're looking to get very specific and get the most out of it, would be, I suggest finding a dietitian that is local in your area who does specialize in sports or in an area that you're interested in more of, so you can have that physical face-to-face counseling and come up with any tools or meal planning strategies that they might have. But if that's not something that you're looking for, if you're looking for a little bit more general, there's plenty of great online-based resources, which I would be happy to share with you, Lori, for you to get out to your listeners. But we have lots of online handouts and different tools for you to be able to calculate your own personal needs, cooking resources. I know a lot of good resources for families who are trying to get back to that good family, like dinner time. How do we make that happen in our hectic world? There's lots of dietitians doing awesome work out there that are publishing these things online. Two great organizations to look towards. First, my professional organization that I work closely with is called the Collegiate and Professional Sports Dietitians Association. That's more so for your competitive athlete. On there, you're going to find information about all of the dietitians that are working in the collegiate setting, like myself, as well as professional world. But then on there, they have great handouts. And then for more of the general athletic population, SCAN, the Sports Cardiovascular and Wellness Nutrition Practice Group, has several great online resources, as well as a Find a Scan RD portion on their website where you can put in your location and find any dietitians that are local to you.
That's great. Yeah, we will absolutely incorporate direct links, you guys, to these resources that Beth has highlighted. We'll put them in the show notes, and we'll also include them in the blog for this podcast. So, and Beth, please, after post-show, feel free to send us any relevant links that you think we should reference in those show notes, please.
Yeah, that's absolutely no problem.
Great. Awesome. Thank you. I didn't even know that those organizations existed. And so I'm sure that a lot of our listeners, unless they're dietitians themselves, probably didn't realize that those resources existed either. Okay. So speaking of dietitians, we've had a few on the show. You're I think our third dietitian. We've had dietitians on the show, none, as you know, that represent sports nutrition. We've had Jackie London from Good Housekeeping, Allison Kuhn from Kroger, you now from Duke University, and I've asked all the dietitians. Oh, Missy Shapuk also, who works in for Yum Brands. She does all the nutrition for Taco Bell.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so you're one of four now that's been on the Produce Moms podcast, and I asked them all the same question. Every dietitian that comes on this show, and I would love to hear your answer. Beth, what is your definition of nutrition?
I would have to say finding the proper balance of foods to fuel your life. My mission as a sports dietitian is to teach our athletes not only how to fuel themselves for their sports here and now while they're at Duke, but also to teach them skills to fuel themselves for the rest of their lives. And I think that can go into play for every athlete of any kind and just any human being. Fuel your life.
Fuel your life. I love that. That's beautiful. And it's so true. It's so true, you guys. And speaking of fuel, there's no better fuel than fresh produce, obviously. I mean, I know
there sure isn't.
So we gotta talk about fresh produce. You're on the Produce Moms podcast. What?
Of course.
Yeah. So humor me. Let's elaborate on this a little bit. What role does fresh produce have for menu planning and the sports nutrition program at Duke Athletics?
Yeah, we have fresh produce everywhere. So we incorporate fresh produce at all of our fueling stations. So we have one centralized Olympic sport fueling station, which is brand new as of this semester. So it's just 2 months old. And then we also have it in our players' lounges for the football and both basketball teams, just as snacks for them to grab and take with them throughout the day. And we have a bunch of fresh produce at each of our recovery bars in our weight room. So that's a place for the athletes to go up to after they're done with their workout and make a fresh smoothie. We use it as halftime fuel. So for example, tomorrow I head down to Atlanta with football to play at Georgia Tech. And first thing we do when we get off the plane is I take my interns to the grocery store and we will buy our halftime fuel, which includes varieties of different fresh produce for that. For example, we've got grapes, oranges, bananas, things of that sort. And then we have all kinds of.
They actually eat at halftime.
Yep. I have a whole big spread for them at halftime when they come in, and each player will take something different, some more than others. It just depends, but yep, we have fresh snacks for them at halftime.
That's amazing. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
A big part of that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the grapes and the oranges are the two things to go the fastest from that table as well.
We've got grape and orange. Smiling.
Love it. Yeah, and then the last place that we serve it is our training table. So training table is the term that we use for our all-athlete meal. We don't have a specific dining hall here at Duke for them, but we set up in our Blue Devil Tower, which is connected to the football stadium. And that's a dinner every night for all athletes to go up and attend. We have a huge salad bar. We have 2 hot vegetables every night, and our chef here is amazing, and he buys everything fresh and local. You will never find anything frozen coming out from our chef back there. He's fantastic. And then also for the produce that we buy for our fueling stations, we get a local produce. We have a local produce vendor who delivers to us weekly also.
I love that. Fantastic.
Yeah,
I will say I recently had my first visit to Duke University. I'll say it's a powerful place. It's the best way I can describe it. As you're describing that power, I'm envisioning it and kind of revisiting my moments and being in awe as I walked on campus, and of course the Duke Chapel. It's just it's a gorgeous.
It's all around. It's very unique here. I love it.
Yeah, I would absolutely say you got to feel pretty good when you're walking to work and you're on that campus.
No doubt.
So I'd love to know, can you share a favorite moment or a unique story about one of the athletes you've served in fresh produce?
Yeah, I have a lot of fun stories with my athletes, but one that really comes to my mind when we're talking about fresh produce specifically is the first time that I brought in mini peppers to our football lounge. To some of them, they'd never even seen those before, and they didn't really even know what they were. I was like, guys, these are pepper. They're just a little mini version. And of course, we put them in there. We have carrots as well to put with hummus. And I remember 2 guys I convinced them they've never tried a pepper before, and just to have them try it. And I got their first time taking a bite of it on video, and it was just the best reaction ever of them realizing actually how tasty it was. And then now the fresh peppers, I can hardly keep them in the fridge because they're so popular. So I'll always remember that with those two specific athletes, two of our seniors. So their fifth year here, they finally tried a pepper.
That's great. Well, good job, Beth. So you're, yeah, I would say that's the produce mom in you. Like we always, our slogan at the Produce Moms is there's a produce mom in all of us. And that right there.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, that right there. There's the produce mom in you getting
Yes,
grown men to try like mini bell peppers for the first time.
Oh yes, there's plenty of times when I do feel like I'm a teen mom in some cases.
I bet. No, your job fascinates me. If you could tell our audience one tip or piece of advice that relates to sports nutrition, what would it be?
Yeah, I would have to say never run on empty. So I like to teach to think of the food as the fuel for your body. Like gas for a car, you need to fill your tank up with high quality fuel in order to receive any results that you're looking for, whether that be in your sport, in your workout routine, or just in general life. So never run on empty and never run on poor quality fuel.
I love that. Great advice from Beth Miller. So, we're closing in our time today, but I've got another question that kind of relates to anyone out there who's thinking, man, this woman's got a cool job, So how did you get your job at Duke University? What did you study? What kind of networking advice do you have for anyone that's interested in a career with sports nutrition?
Yeah, so I think probably the best way to answer that is to just start from the beginning from my education. I went to Tennessee Tech University to receive my Bachelor of Science in Food Nutrition and Dietetics. And while I was there, I was actually an athlete myself, so that's how I gained my interest in sports nutrition. In my senior year, I began to volunteer at the University of Tennessee with the sports dietitian there. So the woman who is doing what I'm currently doing here at Duke, I worked with her at UT to start getting some volunteer experience and really understand, like, wow, I love this role. I could see myself doing this one day. So then from there, I went on to receive my master's in exercise physiology from Florida State, because pairing the exercise along with nutrition is a great match for sports nutrition. And then also completed my dietetic internship at Florida State. So that's what allowed me to then sit for my board exams to become a registered dietitian. And while I was at Florida State, I worked as a graduate assistant in the sports nutrition department to gain even more experience in this world. And then from there, I was hired at UCLA to be the director of sports nutrition out there. Worked out there for 2 years until I moved here last May to start this department. So, and I would not be where I am today if it weren't for that organization that I mentioned earlier, CPSDA. I started to network with them all the way back when I was in college. So I highly recommend to anybody who is interested in this career to check them out. CPSDA stands for the Collegiate and Professional Sports Dietitians Association. And then to just start getting your hands-on experience. Find a local sports dietitian and see how you can start volunteering for them. If you're in the Durham area, we take volunteers every semester. So if that's something you're interested in, you can reach out to me. But that's the best way to do it is to, yes, you need to get the degrees. You need to be a registered dietitian. But what we focus mostly on is what hands-on experience do you have.
I love it. That's great. I'm applying now to volunteer to go grocery shopping with you to buy those snacks. Yes. Oh man, this has been a true pleasure, Beth. I've learned a lot. You as someone who's a sports fan, and I like all sports. I live in Indiana. We love sports. But
love it.
Yeah, I've never, and as someone who loves produce and nutrition. But I've never talked to someone with your expertise that's, combining two of my top passions, and it's their career. They're fueling excellence for these athletes. I just absolutely love what you do. And I'm so thankful that you took the time to share it with me and our entire audience here at the Produce Moms. And, we have a tradition with this podcast. We always pass the mic back to our guests for the closing remarks and the final thank you and goodbye to our listeners. So, Beth, thank you so much for being here, and pass the mic to you for our final goodbye.
Yes. You're welcome. Well, thank you, Lori, and to all the listeners of the Produce Moms. It was great to be here with you today to share a little bit about what I do here at Duke. And I hope you take something away from this to go on and fuel your body for life.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Produce Moms podcast. If you or someone you know would like to be a featured guest, just send an email to lori@theproducemoms.com. We know there is a Produce Mom in you because there's a Produce Mom in all of us. Join our community on Facebook and all social platforms. Help us change the way America eats. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.